welcome back to Dunkirk Dunes. So, we are finally to the Soviet turn where they're going to do whatever it is they're going to do. And so this is Soviet turn 16. Now, of course, they haven't bought anything because they have no money because Moscow has fallen to the Germans. But what they decided early on is they were going to take that massive Russian stack and they were going to start marching towards Berlin. And they have now finally reached a place where they can make an assault on Berlin. But that stack has moved slowly. You know, it only moved one space per turn, and so the Germans have had quite a bit of time to prepare for the Soviets to arrive. But we're finally here. And so the Soviets, they kind of went back and forth. They wondered, gosh, should we attack Berlin or should we do something else? And they finally just decided that they were going to go ahead and attack Berlin. And so what you have facing off here is you've got 83 Soviet infantry and 6 Soviet tanks and 6 Soviet artillery. And defending Berlin, what you've got there is 54 Axis infantry, 4 artillery, 11 mechanized infantry, 16 tanks, 12 fighters, and 2 AAA. And so that's what you've got in this battle. But Brother Pius gave me details on how the battle went. So the battle lasted 3 rounds. And in round 1, the Soviets rolling all that stuff. So, they were rolling 77 ones and 12 twos and 6 threes. But they got a total of 22 hits. 16 of their ones hit and 6 of their twos hit. None of their tanks hit. So what the result of that was is that there were 22 casualties inflicted on the Axis. And so I'm just going to go ahead and take out a stack of 10 Germans and the 10 Italians. That's 20. And then 2 more German infantry. So that's 22. That was the first round for the attackers. And then the first round for the defenders. So they were rolling 69 twos and 16 threes, which are the tanks, and then 12 fours, which are the fighters. And the Axis got 22 hits with their twos and 8 hits with their threes and 7 hits with their fours. So they got a total of 37 hits. And if I take those out, that's 37 hits there on the Soviets. And the Soviets, at the end of round 1 of the battle there, they decided to keep going. So then the Soviets had, I guess, about 39 ones, and there's still the 12 twos and the 6 threes, and they got 6 hits with their ones, they got 3 hits with their twos, and they got 4 hits with their threes. So that is a total of 13 hits that they inflicted on the Axis. So if I take out those 13, and then the Axis for their defense, they rolled 47 twos and 16 threes and 12 fours. With their twos, they got 17 out of the 47 hits. With their 16 tanks, they got 6 hits. And with their fours, those 12 fighters, they got 10 hits. So they had a total there of 33 hits. And so take out those 33 hits on the Soviets, and that brings the Russian stack down to that. And then the Russians decided to keep going for round 3. So in round 3, the Soviets were rolling 6 ones and 12 twos and 6 threes. And they didn't get any hits with their ones. They got 5 hits with their twos, and they got 2 hits with their threes. So what they got was a total of 7 hits. So 7 hits there on the Germans. And then the Axis, in their defense roll, they got, they were rolling 34 twos, and then the 16 threes, which were the tanks, and then the 12 fours, which were the fighters. And they got enough hits there to wipe out all the rest of the attacking Soviets. So that's all the Soviet infantry wiped out, all the Soviet tanks wiped out, and all the Soviet artillery wiped out. And so that is the end of that battle. And you can see there that the Germans, and there's some Italians left too, have quite a bit of stuff left in Berlin. They survived that assault. So what they have left at the end of that battle, still surviving in Berlin, is they have 12 infantry. They've got 11 mechs. 2 of those are Italian. They've got 4 artillery. They've got 16 tanks. They got their 12 fighters. And they kept the AAA. You'll notice that they did not take the AAA as casualties because there's this follow-up force here of British that could be attacking, and they didn't know how the battle was going to go, so they wanted to save these German AAA here to be able to use them against the British if the British decide to attack. So that's the end of that battle here. There's a little non-combat movement going on as well. So there was, in this Soviet stack here, you'll notice there was a Soviet AAA. Can't attack, of course. But what it's done is moved back into Baltic states. And then these infantry here that were in Baltic states and Belarus have consolidated into Leningrad. And that's kind of the final state of things here for now. So that's it for the Soviet turn. We will see what the British decide to do when we get to Britain's turn, if they're going to, what they're going to do with that little British force that they still have there in Poland. It doesn't look great though for them, but we'll see what they decide to do. So thanks for watching. Love to hear your comments or any thoughts you have on the way this has gone. But to me, it certainly looks like this is headed for an Axis victory. Thank you for watching.